Girls, stay at home, stay safe and stay healthy. So I am starting refraction of light at plane surfaces. So first of all, what is refraction, that you have to understand. So refer to the diagram. Just see there are two medium and this is the surface of separation between the two medium. So when light is falling on the surface of separation, then you see it was its original path. What it is doing, it is bending from its original path. So this bending of light from the original path where light ray is traveling from one medium to another medium is known as refraction. Alright, so what is refraction? The change in the direction of path of light when light travels from one medium to another medium is known as refraction. You must learn the definition of refraction, everyone. The next question arises that what is the cause of refraction? The cause of refraction is that speed of light is different in different medium. Alright, whenever light enters into one medium where it slows down, alright, means the speed decreases. In that case, what happens? The light bends towards the normal. And when light moves or enters into a medium where its speed increases, then it bends away from the normal. So if it comes, what is the cause of refraction? Simply you have to write this, that speed of light is different in different medium. That is the cause of refraction. Next is the laws of refraction. You know already that whenever refraction takes place, it obeys two laws. What is the first law? That incident ray, the refracted ray and the normal drawn at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. Here you see, I have drawn the diagram, the incident ray, the normal and the refracted ray all are lying on the plane of the board. Alright, so it means what? That incident ray, the refracted ray and the normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. That is the first law. Second law of refraction, very important for your board exam, so you must learn it and remember it, retain it till your exam. That second law, it is also known as Snell's law after the name of physicist Snell. Now, what is second law? The ratio of sine of SINE, sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction is constant for the pair of media and the color of light used. Alright, so let us try to find out what is the meaning of this. So here you see, look at the diagram. This is angle of incidence I, angle of refraction R. So what is the meaning of the Snell's law? Sine, ratio of sine of angle of incidence means sine I and sine of angle of refraction is constant. Alright, now here just follow this, constant for the pair of media and color of light used. What is the meaning? Here you see in the diagram, that's why I have written within brackets. Suppose this is example. I have taken air and glass as a pair of media. Now one can take it as air and water. So this constant value will change when you will change the pair of media. That's why it is said it is constant only when the pair of media you have taken, that is constant. Then second point, color of light used. Color of light used means here we have we have assumed this is a monochromatic light. I hope everybody knows, you can remember it. Mono means single, chrome means color. So monochromatic light means a single colored light when you have taken, then the value of the constant, when you are changing the color of light, that value will change. Alright, so that's why it is very important in the statement of the second law that the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction constant for the pair of media and color of light used. You must mention it. Alright, now what is this constant? This constant, we just name it, we just use the symbol for it, mu. Alright, and mu is the refractive index, and how we write, just follow it, how we write the constant. It is mu and light is moving from 1 to 2. So we write like this, 1 mu 2. Alright, I hope you have understood. The first medium should be written towards the left side of mu and second medium should be written to the right side. So constant we write like this, 1 mu 2. We write like this and we read it 1 mu 2, and what it is? It is the refractive index of the second medium. What it is? Refractive index. Whose refractive index? of the second medium with respect to the first medium. This is very, very important concept. Alright, what I said, I am repeating it again. What is this constant? This constant is refractive index. Whose refractive index? Second medium with respect to the first medium. Now, this refractive index, as we are comparing it with respect to the first medium, so this 1 mu 2, it is known as relative refractive index. For refractive index, you can use the short form RI. Okay, it is allowed in the exam also, but R and I should be capital. Alright, so I hope everybody has understood that when from one medium to the second medium it is moving, then sin I by sin R, what it is? It is the refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium. That's why it is known as relative refractive index. Now, if the first medium is air, alright, or vacuum, it is air or vacuum. Means what? From the air or vacuum, light is coming and falling on a transparent medium. In that case, we write this one, it is as, instead of writing 1 mu 2, we simply write A mu 2, A stands for A, or you may write only mu 2, means nothing written to the left side. Then it is known as absolute refractive index of the medium. Because you see, why I have written only medium, why I have not said second medium, because here only there is only one transparent medium. The first medium is air or vacuum. Alright, so these two concepts are very, very important. When light is coming from any medium and entering into another medium, then it will be called as relative refractive index. Whose refractive index? Second medium with respect to the first. But if the first medium is air, then what will happen? The refractive index, it will be known as absolute refractive index of the medium. Now, the concept of absolute refractive index is very, very important in physics. Okay, why? Because absolute refractive index determines the optical density of a medium. Alright? If the absolute refractive index, I am writing this way, absolute refractive index is greater, then the medium is considered as denser medium. Then the medium is denser medium. Alright. So for a denser medium, absolute refractive index is greater. And if the absolute refractive value is less, then the medium is considered as the rarer medium. Alright. So second point, whatever I have said, please note it down. There is no space. I am not writing, that's why. So this is the very important, that's why the absolute refractive index is very important. That absolute refractive index, if it is higher, then the medium is optically denser, and if the absolute refractive index is less, then the medium is optically rarer medium. Now, there is another very important relation for absolute refractive index. Absolute refractive index, one can define this way also. It is speed of light in air, that generally we denote it by C, and then speed of light divided by speed of light in the medium, that we denote the speed by V. So, mu is equal to C by V. This is a very, very important relation in physics and refraction chapter. This is another relation for absolute refractive index. So, here you see absolute refractive index is given by C by V. What is the value of C? Everybody knows. C is equal to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, which is constant. Alright. So, you see from this relation you are getting two very important conclusions. Just see what I said in the earlier discussion, that for denser medium, the value of mu is more. So, you can write like this, for denser medium, what is happening? Mu is more. So, look at it, C is constant. So, if you want mu is more, then what will happen to V? V should be less. So, V is less. Alright. So, what you can write? That light slows down in a denser medium. Alright. So this one is, you can just learn it, remember it from your practical experiences also. Suppose in a crowded place, I am telling you to run. Then what will happen to you? You will not be able to run first, isn't it? Because if it is a crowded place. So like that, just like you, light also do the same. That if it is a denser medium, then what will happen? The speed of light will slow down. So speed of light slows down in a denser medium. Now again you apply the same for rarer medium. So what is happening for rarer medium? Just you see, for rarer medium, mu is less. I said already that absolute refractive index, when it is less, then the medium is optically rarer, less density. So if mu is less, what does it indicate? That V is more. What does it mean? That in a rarer medium, the light speeds up. So these points you must learn and remember. Okay, and this is a very important relation. Frequently question comes, direct question you will get in the board exam, that write the relation between refractive index and speed of light. Alright, then you have to write this, that refractive index, absolute refractive index of a medium is equal to C by V. Alright, clear? Now you see what I said, when I am writing 1 mu 2, it is the relative refractive index, isn't it? So the question arises then, what is the relation between the relative refractive index and absolute refractive index? Just try to get it. 1 mu 2 is equal to mu 2 by mu 1. I hope it is clear to everybody. Mu 2 is the absolute refractive index of the second medium and mu 1 is the absolute refractive index of the first medium. These are all the relations you need to learn and remember to solve the numericals. Clear? Again you see, if I apply this formula that mu is equal to C by V, then you see you can write mu 2 is equal to C by V2 and you can write it as mu 1 is C by V1. So 1 mu 2, what are you getting? Mu 2 by mu 1 and mu 2 is C by V2 and mu 1 is C by V1. So what are you getting? V1 by V2. So 1 mu 2 is equal to V1 by V2. So these are the relations you are supposed to remember always. Okay, 1 mu 2 is mu 2 by mu 1 and 1 mu 2 is V1 by V2. What does V1 represent? Speed of light in the first medium and V2 is the speed of light in the second medium. Is that clear? Then another important question comes from this one. You see, mu is equal to C by V. Clear? So you see, what will be the refractive index of air or vacuum? When I am taking the refractive index in air or vacuum, then it will be V will become equal to C. So you see, what is the refractive index of air or vacuum? The refractive index of air or vacuum is 1. Clear? Another one, this is a very important fact, as we know that V can never be greater than C. Alright, means body can move with a speed greater than the speed of light. Alright, what does it mean? V is always less than C. Clear? V is always less than C. Okay, better to write always. V can never be greater than 1. So as V is always less than C, can you tell me what will happen to mu then? You see here what is happening. C by V is greater than 1. Clear? So mu is either greater than or equal to 1. Is that clear? Mu can never be less than 1. This is also an important question for your board exam. I am repeating it, that's why. Just try to understand that speed of light, speed of anything, speed of light in any medium, it can never be greater than C. It is always less than C. So what is happening then? If V is less than C, then C by V is always greater than 1. Greater than 1 means what? Mu can be greater than 1 and mu may be equal to 1, but mu can never be less than 1. Alright. So if the question comes that can refractive index of light, refractive index of any medium, it can be less than 1, then what will be your answer? Refractive index can never be less than 1, and this is the reason, and you must write down the reason pointwise this way. Now consider this fact. Suppose light is moving from A to glass. As you know, the I am just writing for example, that refractive index of air is 1 and refractive index of glass is 1.5. So you see here, refractive index of glass is more, so it is a denser medium. Clear? So light is moving. When light moves from rarer to denser medium, then light always bends towards the normal. Alright, that I also discussed, I said in the cause of refraction also. Clear? So you see, this is the point you have to remember, that when light moves from rarer to denser medium, light bends towards the normal. So when light bends towards the normal, then what is happening? Just look at the diagram. Angle of incidence is greater than angle of refraction. Then what is the amount of deviation? This is known as angle of deviation. What is the meaning of deviation? Just understand it. The light was following this path. So it is bending from this path. Now light is following this way. So you see, this was the original path and this is the final path. So angle between the original path and final path is known as the angle of deviation. So from the geometry of the diagram, I hope you can understand that this angle and this entire angle, they are what? Vertically opposite angles. So this entire angle equal. So you can write I is equal to R plus delta. So what is delta coming? Delta is equal to I minus R. Alright. I is greater than R. So what is the angle of deviation? It is I minus R. Now come to this one. In this case, you see light is moving from glass to air. Means it is moving from denser to rarer medium. So when light moves from denser to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. Okay? In which direction it bends? It bends away from the normal. So if it bends away from the normal, in the diagram just see R is greater than I. Isn't it? This angle of refraction is greater than angle of incidence. Now, in this case, what is delta? Just try to understand it. So, this angle is equal to I. Alright, if I draw the diagram, this is the vertically opposite angle. So, this is I. Alright, so you see I plus delta equal to R. So, how much is delta? Delta is equal to R minus I. So, if you look at the angle of deviation, you can get one nice relation. You see, in both the cases, angle of deviation is difference between the angle of refraction and angle of incidence. When angle of incidence is bigger, it will be I minus R, and when angle of refraction is bigger, it will be R minus I. That is the simple way to calculate the angle of deviation. Condition for no refraction. What is the meaning? That light will change the medium, but there will be no change in the direction of its path. Alright. So under which circumstances it happens, just try to understand. It is also important from the point of view of board exam also. So suppose there are two medium and light is falling perpendicularly on the medium. Alright. What I am saying, light is falling perpendicularly on the medium. So when it is falling perpendicularly, what is the angle of incidence? Angle of incidence is 0. I hope you will not say angle of incidence 90. Okay? When this is known as normal incidence. Okay? Means light is falling perpendicularly on the surface of separation between the two medium. So what will happen? Angle of incidence is 0. So when angle of incidence is 0, then according to Snell's law, what should happen? Angle of refraction should also be 0. So what does it mean? That light will follow the same path. You see here, light is moving from one medium to second medium, but it is not suffering any kind of refraction. So this is the first case or first condition for no refraction. Then second one is that there are two medium, but the two medium are such that their refractive indices are equal. Okay, so what will happen? In this case, light is not falling perpendicularly. Clear? But as the refractive indices are equal, so for light, the medium, that both the medium will appear as the same medium. So light will not understand only, yes, there is a change in medium. So what will happen? The light will follow the same path. Clear? So if the question comes, and this is a frequently asked question in board exam, so you must note it down. Very important for your board exam. Conditions for no refraction. What is the first point? Under normal incidence, for normal incidence, light suffer no refraction. You can write down this way. And in the second case, when the refractive indices of both the medium are same, then light suffer no refraction. You can either write your answer in sentence, unable to write the answer in sentence, in statement, then please draw this two diagram along with this information. Now next topic is factors on which refractive index of a medium depends. It is also important for your board exam. Now the first factor, that refractive index, already we have seen that from Snell's law only it is coming, that refractive index depends on the nature of the medium. Alright, for air refractive index is minimum, and for denser medium refractive index is more, and for rarer medium refractive index is less. Then second factor, so the first factor is nature of the medium. What you will write under this point, that for air refractive index is minimum equal to 1. For denser medium refractive index is higher or more, and for rarer medium refractive index is less. Then second factor is temperature of the medium. Now when the temperature of the medium increases, then what happened? Speed of light increases in that medium. Now you know that refractive index is C by V. So if V increases, what will happen to the refractive index? Refractive index decreases. So how the refractive index depends on the temperature of the medium. If the temperature of the medium increases, refractive index decreases. Never write inversely proportional. Okay, I am repeating, don't write inversely proportional. You should write that temperature of the medium increases, then refractive index decreases, and vice versa. Then last and the most important point is that the most important factor, refractive index depends on wavelength. Wavelength is denoted by lambda, agglerator or color. Here wavelength and color is determined by the wavelength of light. So refractive index depends on wavelength or color of light. How does it depend? There is a nice relation. This is known as Cauchy's relation. But this relation, as it is not there in the scope of syllabus of your standards, so don't have to remember. So that you can understand, I have written it. Mu is equal to A plus B by lambda square. So you see, when the wavelength increases, what happens to refractive index? Refractive index decreases, and vice versa. Again I am reminding you, girls, those who are having this habit to always write this directly proportional, inversely proportional, please don't write that. Okay, how to write that? When the wavelength of light increases, refractive index decreases, but they are not inversely proportional. I am repeating, I am reminding you, don't do this mistake while writing the factor in exam. Okay, so when wavelength of a light increases, then what happens? Refractive index decreases. So you see here there is no space, that's why I am writing it here. I hope you will understand it. We know that wavelength of red is maximum and wavelength of violet is minimum. So we can write it this way. And so refractive index for red color is minimum, whereas refractive index for violet is maximum. This is also a very important relation. You are supposed to remember it. Next topic is how the speed of light, frequency of light and wavelength of light changes when light travels from one medium to another medium. Understanding. First is frequency. Alright. Frequency, it depends on the source of light. Alright. Depends on source of light. So you see, when the light is changing medium, it is moving from one medium to other medium, it is suffering refraction, then F remains the same. This is the most important concept. Okay, F remains same. Frequency never changes when light moves from one medium to another medium. Then second one we know about speed. Already I said how the speed changes. I hope you can remember. In denser medium, light slows down. Okay, means speed decreases. And in rarer medium, that will happen with you also. If you just run in a crowded place, then definitely you will be able to run with a less speed. But if it is not a crowded place, empty space, then what will happen? You can run faster. So the same thing applicable for light also. So in rarer medium, light speeds up. Okay. Then next one is what about the wavelength? Clear? So we know that what is the relation between velocity, frequency and wavelength. V is equal to F into lambda. Is that clear? So F is not changing. So what will happen when V will change? Lambda will change in the same manner. What does it mean? In denser medium, V decreases, so lambda decreases. In rarer medium, V increases and lambda increases. Now, you can do it like this. Suppose if you consider the light is moving in air or vacuum, then what you can write? C is equal to F lambda. Clear? Now, suppose the light is moving in other medium. So, V is equal to F into lambda dash. You see that, look at this relation. In both the cases, what is happening? The F is same, frequency is same. When it is moving in air and when it is moving in any medium. So you see, if you take the ratio, then what it is coming? Lambda by lambda dash is equal to C by V. Clear? So you can write lambda dash is equal to C by V is equal to what? Mu. So you can write lambda dash is equal to lambda by mu. Clear to everyone what I said? So you see, in denser medium what will happen? Mu will be more, so lambda will decrease. Clear? And in rarer medium what will happen? Mu will be less, so lambda dash will increase. So I am writing the outcome here in 2 points, that in denser medium mu is more, so lambda dash less. And in rarer medium mu is less, so lambda is more. So you see, lambda you can explain by utilizing this formula also or by utilizing this formula also.